coming on here and telling their story about how they had to do federal time for those PPP loans. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel bad for them because not only do they have to pay back their own loans, they have to pay back other people's loans also, plus due time, like like 2 to 9 years kind of time. Not to mention, some of these girls have little kids. Some of them are pregnant now. This was over 4 years ago. I see a lot of comments talking about, oh, they did the crime, they should be doing the time, and I get it. But damn, y'all, like, that is really sad. I don't know who needs to hear this, but just a friendly reminder, don't do it because it will come back to haunt you.
I got some sad news for y'all. The FBI is cracking down on people that got those PPP loans, and it's looking like a whole lot of people are on their way to jail. We're about to talk about this, but before we do, I need y'all to do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
So y'all was clowning me when I said be careful with the PPP loans. Be careful with the unemployment fraud or the fraud. And now 4 years later, people are going to jail. I am just appalled with how sloppy and greedy you guys were. Because now they got lists of people and they are coming after you. They are coming fast. Get your affairs in order if you are one of the people. Now me, on the other hand, I was too nervous. I was too scared to even try. And I'm glad, okay? Because I'm not going to jail. But if you are, let me tell you, that was a part of the plan. They knew that people would sign up. They knew that people would go after money that wasn't theirs, okay? And they were ready to lock your ass up. They were building a case, and that case is built. And they are taking you to jail, okay? And the crazy part about it is they're going after just regular, normal people. Go after these big corporations who stole millions of dollars. But no, that's crazy.
Okay, you guys, I'm over here stressed out because you remember when the PP loan was here? I did the PP loan and I just got a freaking, oh my God, I just got a letter in the mail that said I'm subpoenaed to court for this. And if charged, I'm facing 10 years in federal prison. 10 years in federal. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me get the paper for you guys. I'm going to show you the paper. Hold on. Because what the? 10 years. Hold on. I'm trying not to cry because I'm trying to make sure. Hold on.
Yeah. And I didn't think I was going to have to be one of them people, but now I'm at the point to where I need to go on and keep it real too, because I need to know what my options are. Today, my local HPD teamed up apparently with the Federal Bureau of Investigations, came to my house about the $15,000 PPP loan that I applied for. I do her out of my house. My sister does her professionally, so I just use her credentials.
You're going to jail, girl.
I got awarded some money, and that shit is real. And I got 3 kids, and I was hoping somebody could tell me, how do I tell them? What do I tell them? Because I don't know what it's going to be. I'm going to keep y'all posted and updated, but I don't know.
Y'all got caught, or y'all have to pay a fine, or y'all have to do time. And somebody turned y'all in that was close to y'all. Let's talk about it. A lot of y'all probably don't know this, but it's a website. Y'all can look up people's names, y'all can look up their business, and y'all can see how much money they got from the PPP loan. If y'all know it wasn't legit, a lot of those people was turning them folks in. And if they, those folks came after them and prosecuted them, those people that was close to them that turned them in got a reward. But a lot of y'all got caught because y'all ran y'all mouth too much. Y'all can't hold a secret. It's okay to hold some secrets. You don't got to tell your spouse everything. You don't got to tell your family everything, your mom and daddy, your best friend. Sometimes it's good to be secretive. When y'all be looking at them crime shows, who normally done did it? Yes, the person that was closest to them. Someone they knew. Y'all have horror stories of family and friends saying how people in the back who wasn't normally from. It wasn't an enemy that they already knew. It was somebody that was close to them. They didn't even see it coming. It was somebody right up under their nose. Stop running your mouth so much, because you never know who's listening. That's why people be knowing too much about you.
Y'all hear that? While people was out here stunting on people, it was their family and friends reporting them for getting the loan and not even spending the money on the things they got the loan for. Then you got to think to yourself, why was it so easy for people to get that money so fast? A lot of people believe it was a conspiracy to lock these people up in the first place.
Yo, you know, I've been hearing a lot about the PPP scammers. They getting taken down, taken to court, all of that. Yo, it was so easy, so fast, so loose. I ain't do it, but it was so easy, so fast, so loose that I kind of have a theory, right? Imagine it was just like, because they had to have known some people was going to take advantage of it. Without any type of real looking into it, they were sending people all that money. Yeah, they already knew what it was. I feel like it was a experiment. An experiment to see what people would actually spend the money on. And people didn't spend the money to better their lives. They spent their money on things. Mansions and cars and watches. Like, are you serious? Like, they just want to see, yo, how bad would you crash out? And now you're going to jail. Dumb.
Florida woman is now on the FBI's most wanted list after allegedly masterminding a $34 million COVID-19 relief fraud. Her name is Elaine Angine Esco, and investigators say she didn't just dip into pandemic aid. She orchestrated a full-blown operation. Between May 2020 and November 2021, Esco and her co-conspirators allegedly submitted over 90 fraudulent applications to federal programs like PPP, EIDL, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, and the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. They reportedly used fake payroll data, inflated employee counts, and made up revenue numbers to secure millions in federal funds. According to the FBI, the group funneled money through shell businesses, withdrew large sums in cash, and used blank signed checks to hide the trail. Esco was indicted on multiple charges, including wire fraud and money laundering, and was scheduled to appear in court on June 5, but she vanished 2 days before. She was last seen in Palm Beach County and may have fled to Jamaica, where she has known ties and aliases like Annie and Annie Palmer. And this case isn't just about stolen money, it's about stolen opportunity. While small businesses were struggling to survive, this scheme siphoned off funds meant to keep real people afloat. And now the woman behind it all is gone, leaving behind a trail of fraud, unanswered questions, and a reminder of just how deep pandemic exploitation ran.
I can say this about the PPP loans, right? If you was dancing in 2020 and 2021, you ain't need no PPP loans. Because they was in the club throwing that shit. It was a time, hold on, let me put my little seatbelt on. It was a time in Atlanta, you had to be there, okay? I could literally stand in the middle of the walkway between the bar and the stage, not be dancing for nobody, and money just be falling. Money would just be falling. I would be counting at the end of the night, make 7,000-10,000, didn't know where. I didn't know who I danced for. I would just be sitting there and money would be being thrown. And there would be girls next to me. We would all have piles. I'm not saying that anybody should dance. I'm just saying that during PPP, the ones who won was the bitches in the club, because we didn't have to scam no PPP. Then people were coming in there blowing that bag, okay? And they wasn't blowing the money for us, okay? These men were coming in the club throwing money on the next man. They were having bottle wars in the club. I remember one time it was a nigga that sent 10 bottles to a nigga he didn't like and was like, yeah, like shit on him. When I tell you that man that he sent those bottles to started the club up, like I'm pretty sure he ordered like 40,000 after that and was just throwing it everywhere. Started walking around the club. Just there was a time where they would just walk around the club and just throw money. It was a time. It was a time. But anyways, yeah, some bitches did right by their money. Some bitches tried to keep up with the Joneses. Which one were you? I know what I was. I've always been scared to go broke, so I saved my ass off, okay? But I remember the girls that were standing next to me making $10,000 a night, who have now like went back to their hometowns, went back to regular lives, because instead of them saving their money or investing it, they blew it on Chanel. And now we got this big ass, oh, everything's fake type thing. Like, it's crazy. was time.
People really thought those PP loans was free money. They really thought they was going to be able to go to the mall, buy whatever they want, houses, cars, luxury, like it was a free credit card. Did they ever see more money? They need to watch that movie to understand that nothing in life is for free. I mean, nothing in life is for free. Now they got to pay the ultimate price by going to jail.
PPP loan. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I saw a girl's video saying that she just had her case with the feds regarding getting the PPP loan, like lying on the application, and she got sentenced to 9.5 years. 9.5 years. And I saw other people in the comments saying that they're going through their case. I saw somebody else say that they got sentenced for wire fraud. And these people are not playing. They are not playing. And banks are assisting. They are assisting in the process. As somebody who works in banking, who's worked in multiple different banks, the banks help the IRS. But let me tell y'all what happened with my coworker. So this is my coworker that turned into a friend. So I had already left the company by the time that she got fired. But ultimately what happened was, this is 2022. The list came out of everybody who had got the PPP loan. She obviously was on that list. And she ended up in HR. Clearly the bank was looking at the list. Not my current job, y'all. Again, this is a company that I left. So don't call them people again, please. But she ended up in a meeting with HR. They asked her like, oh, you were on this list, you have a business. And basically there was a date that your business had to be established to qualify for the PPP loan. And a lot of people created LLCs after that date. And that's how they know if your application was fraudulent. And so they told her like, I don't think that you qualified for this PPP loan based on when you established your business or whatever. But she didn't admit to anything. And her business was selling handmade jewelry, right? So the reason why they were able to fire her is because if you've ever worked for a bank, a financial institution, a brokerage, you have to disclose all outside business activities. It's regulatory. You have to sign off that you will disclose anything, any second job, any second source of income. If you're a part of the board of directors for any type of company, nonprofit, sometimes even volunteer work, you have to disclose it so that the bank can make sure it's not a conflict of interest. So basically they fired her because they said that her not disclosing that she had a business was violating company policy, because she should have told them. And I'm sure y'all are going to say, well, she should have told them that, she stopped the business when she started working. I guess whenever she established it, she had already started working there. So like the dates just didn't line up. But yeah, they fired her and said that it was because she didn't disclose that she had a business. But if she had disclosed that she had a business, it wouldn't have been a conflict of interest for her to sell handmade jewelry. They fired her because of that PPP loan. And that was just their excuse. So be careful, y'all. They are coming.
You guys had asked me, one of the questions was how much I got, how much time did I do in prison, and all of that. So I want to get into that. So I was on pretrial a whole year before I was sentenced to go to federal prison. I got indicted March 15th, 2023. I was sentenced April 21st, 2024. In between that time, my lawyer was telling me that I was only facing 0 to 6 months because of my criminal history was low. And if you know the feds, they base your sentencing off of a sentencing guidelines chart. So I ended up getting my PSR. If you don't know what a PSR is, it's a pre-sentencing report. Remember when I told y'all that my lawyer told me that I was only facing 0 to 6 months? So we get the pre-sentencing report, and it has all these enhancements on there. I was only supposed to pay back $40,000, which is what the prosecution asked for. And these people had me having to pay back $100,000. So that boosted my amount up. So if you get more than $70,000, you'll get an enhancement of 8 points. They didn't let me get my 3-point reduction. Let me break down the $100,000. Okay, I had to pay back my loan. I had to pay back the person loan who was indicted with me, but they were not indicted on this case. They never went to court. They never did anything. The prosecution didn't even want me to pay back these loans. That's just how dirty the judge was, y'all.
You're an idiot!
Y'all, real life, trying to get me on some shit that y'all know for a fact I did not do. Besides that, I never even got the money, or the dude never even got his money. Well, that's what he told me. He told me that he didn't get the PPP loan for some shit that I didn't even gain any benefit off of. For real, like. A whole year later, I found out that I would be facing 24 to 30 months. Y'all, my lawyer was telling me for a whole year that I was only going to get probation, and I was asking him, like, what steps do I need to take? Like, what do I need to prepare myself for? He's like, well, it's fine. You don't have to really change anything. I'm going to make sure you get probation and all this. But they ended up giving me all these enhancements, saying that I was a leader, and I orchestrated all of this stuff, and they gave me enhancements, and I ended up being 25 points on the sentencing guidelines. So with 25 points, I was facing 24 to 30 months of federal time. I had so many letters. I had so much support from my community. Everybody was writing letters for me. People was really, really like there to support me through these. And that didn't matter when I went to court. The judge didn't even read any of my letters. So like probably 2 days before I went to court, I ended up taking a pregnancy test. And the pregnancy test results came back, you guys, I was pregnant. So I ended up going to court. I let her know that I was pregnant. She didn't care. She was like, why did you get pregnant? She asked me, why did I get married? She didn't really care. She kind of didn't have any sympathy for me because I was pregnant.
Of the people who took out their loans, y'all going to jail. I do not play with the IRS. My mama used to work for the IRS. I'm not playing with the government. Y'all are going to jail. For $792.6 billion have been taken out. Oh, y'all going to jail. My cousin gonna tell him he got a Chick-fil-A now. He don't have a chick or nowhere to lay. He's going to jail. It's too brave for me. Oh, no, honey. Look at all these names. I don't want to put your business out. Y'all going to jail. Oh, my goodness. Let me double check. I know I ain't on here. Make sure nobody ain't use my information. Y'all going to jail.
Loan a few years back. Well, I don't know about your For You page, but mine has had some disturbing updates.
I was sentenced to 114 months.
I'm not here to make jokes about that. I find it very sad she has children. She's taking full accountability, and I wish her the best outcome. This video is a public service announcement for a mistake that I saw her make that I see a lot of people make for some reason. It says in the video that at some point it was brought to her attention that they were coming. And so to get out in front of it, she reached out to them and talked to them and tried to settle things, especially so it wasn't like a surprise and potentially traumatizing to her children. But then in a later video, she says because she came forward willingly with that information, they found a bunch of issues with what she was talking about, asked her a bunch of questions she barely knew how to answer, and at the end of it all got slapped with a sentence long as a Monday. And the mistake I referenced at the beginning was trying to do any of that without a lawyer present. In my downtime, I used to watch police interviews like it was my damn job. The mistake that most people make, especially younger ones for some reason, is thinking that remaining silent or waiting for a lawyer to be present is somehow an admission of guilt. You should take this approach whether you're guilty or innocent. Actually, especially if you're innocent. This is Michael Dixon, and though he doesn't know it here, he's about to be falsely imprisoned. On August 15, 2003, police were called to report a man robbing a jewelry store. 2 officers responded and chased the perp down an alley before briefly losing sight of him. At that same time, Michael's getting off the bus nearby after just getting off work. And he was the first person they saw when they left the alley, so they arrested him at gunpoint. But because in his mind, he knows that he's innocent, he just wants to help the investigation along. But little does he know, Sherlock Holmes is on the case, and the detective work is already done.
Your innocence and guilt in this, quite frankly, isn't an issue. The evidence I have is, frankly, conclusive and overwhelming. Okay? So I'm not even going to ask you if you did it. What I have to ascertain here is what kind of guy you are.
False. If he had everything he needed, they would not be sitting there. He needs something much closer to an admission of guilt. Because what's not uncovered until much later is at this very moment, that detective hasn't even looked over the security footage, and either hasn't read or is ignoring his witness reports, which identify the suspect as a small, white man.
I really don't have an answer for you except to say I didn't do it.
I guess we haven't really got a great amount of talking about. Yeah, it's like I said, whether you did it or not isn't up for the discussion.
Okay, well,
there's a number of witnesses.
Ooh, great.
One of them had a video camera.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Well, that's relieving. That's relieving, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So view the video camera.
I have.
Okay.
That's why your guilt isn't in issue here.
That doesn't even make sense to me. Because if I'm on the video camera, that doesn't make sense. You have a video camera that shows me?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
So at this point, the detective's just straight up lying. But if he had a lawyer here, you know what the first thing they do when they walk in the room? I need to see the evidence. Can we go over the evidence? This all would have stopped right here. He then has him illustrate his movements up until the point of arrest, all of which is later proven to be completely accurate. Then the detective has him specify his movements, literally drawn out on the whiteboard of when he got off the bus until he got arrested, all of which would later be proven entirely accurate.
Like I said, on the information that I've got, you're going to be charged tonight with breaking and entering. However, I do have a duty to make sure that the truth is basically the truth is paramount, and the true version of events is paramount. And I have a duty to investigate all of this, and I will investigate. I assure you, I'll investigate this story thoroughly, and hopefully, I'll be able to find something here which will either prove or disprove what we've discussed tonight.
Michael was then thrown in jail for 3.5 days, until another investigator took it upon himself to go speak to witnesses and go over surveillance footage himself. A civil trial ensued, and Michael was awarded $45,000 in damages. The interrogating officer and 3 other investigators were all demoted and suspended without pay. If you think this is some police hate piece, cool your jets. That's not what this is at all. Obviously, it took a good cop to vindicate him in the end. What this is to say is the power of life and death is in the tongue. And that if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, whether you're guilty or innocent, if your country allows, shut the hell up and get a lawyer.
This some sad news. I feel sorry for all the kids out there that's going to have to watch their father and mother go to jail for the Jordans and the cell phones and the iPhones and the tablets and all the foolishness. They should have invested that money. It would have been legal if they would have really invested it into something. That's the craziest part about this, man. If you ain't got no business, you ain't got no business. And that's why they about to be sitting up in a jail cell.